Let's see how everyone's doing in here. I think he's doing okay. We've done the surgery. I think he survived. His heart rate is still coming through. His blood's still pulsing.
You did follow with my request of making him not ugly, right?
Yes. I've turned him into a beautiful
You've
little...
removed the double chin?
He's a little cutie now, see?
His little cheeks?
He's the most beautiful boy in all the land.
Fat neck?
It's all gone. Stripped away.
Did you give him cheekbones?
No. He's a big, round, cushy, plushy doll, like a little Labubu.
But I asked the opposite.
Are you ready for the big reveal? Let's go. Get those covers off you, and let's see the finished result. Let's get them all. Oh, let me do a final little scan. A little. Beep, 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 beep. Yep, don't worry. He's still gay. I couldn't afford anesthetic, so he was conscious for all of it.
Why does he have crossed eyes?
It's a sign of low intelligence.
This is Anne Hathaway from a few months ago, okay? And as you can see...
Is this pre-corpse or post-corpse?
This is post-corpse, okay?
This is
Anne Hathaway literally looks fucking like 22 years old. It's crazy. Like
she looks younger than what she looked when she was 22.
Yeah, it's very cooked. Yeah, so this is, I thought a video would be more useful because it's kind of, it's in motion. You can kind of see what's going on here.
What were you saying earlier about closing your eyes?
It's very, what about closing my eyes? Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, everyone please open your eyes for just this section, okay? So like Anne Hathaway is gleaming, dewy, looks beautiful. I have some other pieces of evidence here. We have Lindsay Lohan. Okay, this is how she looks now today. Okay, her face is completely changed. She looks completely different.
Yo,
this is Lindsay
they got rid of her
Lohan.
freckles.
They got rid of her
cured her of
freckles.
gingivitis.
Yep.
You know, I got freckles on my vacation, but they're not even they're just like big blobs.
That's called a tan.
Adrenochrome, you're not far off. Yeah, you just got tanned, Bambi, for the first time in your life.
No, I got tanned.
You pale ass Muslim.
Okay, fuck off. Literally, you are the whitest fucking Muslim. Shut up.
He is not
I'm the whitest Muslim and you are the whitest Arab, and this is why we're perfect for each other.
Propaganda.
She's so desperate
if
to
I do
maintain
buy
her
into
Twitter
his
clout,
propaganda,
girls.
how else am I gonna annoy you, Wiz?
That's true. She's got you there.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, I've got one
Those
more.
are sunspots. Oh, what the fuck
Christina
are sunspots?
Aguilera. Aguilera.
Aquafina, did you say?
Aquilera. Boom.
Aquemini?
Again. This is from like a month ago. This woman, I'm pretty sure, is like 50.
Who is that?
Christina Aguilera.
It says it, Bambi.
That's her? Oh.
Yeah, right? She looks completely different.
Sorry,
These
I'm
women are
illiterate. I'm
returning
sorry.
with new faces. It's completely different.
She looks like Zendaya.
She does, yeah.
She kind of does.
She walked in and was like, give me the white Zendaya, please. And they were like, you mean
Zendaya,
the
but
Zendaya?
with
And she was like,
boobs.
yeah. give me big titty Zendaya. Okay, so this is all the evidence I really wanted to present here. I can pop this off now. So yeah, we've noticed a large number of terrifying transformations for celebrities, and I
So
thought it would be
wait, just
interesting
very
to look
quickly.
into.
This is objectively good news because this means we've found how to live forever if we keep the brain alive.
Okay. Walk us through your logic.
Because
Yeah, I
we're
wanna
very
hear this.
soon going to get to a point where we can sustain the brain, but the rest of the body fades, right? That's the problem, right? Is the brain just fucking gives up. So now, if we have this on tap to fucking inject into people once we fix their fucking brains, right? We fucking upload their bodies, plug their bodies into the robot body, and the skin is, instead of oil, they use dead corpse blood or whatever the hell this is. Where are you going?
Okay.
You
Yes. Yeah, okay.
Where's the Art House Bionicle? Since you asked so nicely.
No, stop fucking talking to
the
Wiz about
Bionicle movie.
Shut up.
The Bionicle movie is Art House.
Wiz,
Go on, ask your question.
Thank you. Shut up. No, I don't have a question. I just
You
want
can't
to
tell me it's a
not talk about
podcast.
Bionicle.
You can't be like, shut up.
What? Did she just tell you
She
to
just told
shut
me
up?
to shut up on a podcast. I was like, well,
On your
what for?
own show, dude? On your own show.
I know, dude.
That's cooked.
No, listen.
The disrespect.
I've only told. Shut the fuck up.
Who's talking?
Go ahead, Bambi.
You were trying to
say your
you were
piece.
no, I just okay, Smug. You're gonna agree with me here. I just don't want Wiz to talk about Bionicle.
Why would you bait that? Why would you bait that interaction?
No,
Why would you do
I
this?
didn't. I didn't
don't
because
fall
he
for
started
her
talking.
tricks.
This is your fault. This is your fault. Okay. All right. Okay. So all right. Let me crack on. So we've seen the recent images, okay, all right, of all of these celebrities, and they're coming back looking 22. Now, the interesting thing is that if you interview them, they'll do the same thing that celebrities always do. They'll all give you different answers. I think Anne Hathaway said that she has a great skincare routine. Someone interviewed Lindsay Lohan. Yeah, someone interviewed Lindsay Lohan, and she said that the secret is beets. Just eating a lot of beets. That's how she managed to get, to stay young. The Benjamin Buttoning. But if you dig into the actual cosmetic industries, they're all pointing to the same thing, which is a new injectable cosmetic called Renuva.
Ew.
I don't know
that
why
even
I
sounds
kept calling
evil.
it
That's a fucking
Renuvia.
Doctor Who episode. Locking it in. You know what I mean?
It literally does sound like the thing from the
Renuva
Substance.
Industries.
Crazy.
Oh, what the fucking? Because they had a Doctor Who episode where it was like
I thought
you take
it
a
sounded
pill.
like Genovia, you know, the kingdom from Princess Diaries.
What the fuck are you talking about?
What just happened there?
The Princess Diaries?
What?
What? Explain yourself.
Why has that got to do with the cosmetic company?
She's been reading the Princess Diaries, is what all we're learning from this interaction was.
I don't know if you can.
No,
read them.
I said okay, because I said that I've been calling it Renuvia, and it reminded me of Genovia from the Princess
What is
Diaries.
happening? Because you mispronounced a word similarly to another.
At least my
Moving on.
Doctor Who
Right, okay.
tangent was related. At least my Doctor Who tangent was related.
It was. And that was one of the few. That is one of 3 times in the last 2 years I've worked with this man that he made a Doctor Who reference that was relevant to the discussion, and you somehow torpedoed it, Bambi. What is wrong with you?
Yay!
Okay, good job. All right. So, Renuva works in a different way than most of the other injectables, right? You got your Botoxes and your hyaluronic stuff, and basically the general idea for injectables is you fill up the space that was left by fat, right? So you fill yourself up with like hyaluronic acid, or you inject like fucking collagen stimulating agents or whatever, right? You're just like filling your skin with random garbage. Yeah. Now, Renuva works differently. Renuva works by injecting what they call it a matrix of scaffolding that your body then attaches fat cells to.
What?
So in other words, the fat in your body, right, you have lots of fat cells,
Yes.
and they attach to, especially you, Wiz, and they attach to like this little network of like this matrix of like kind of a netting, basically. So what Renuva does is they inject you with this netting, and it mimics the same structures that your body would normally use to like manage fat distribution under the skin.
Do you have visual?
But
aids?
it controls the shape it grows into. Is that what you're saying?
I have regular aids. Yeah, so well, basically you just inject a pile of it into a area where you want more fat to kind of be generated, and then your body will fill that empty matrix with your own fat cells.
My question is, why doesn't it just make you a great big fat person if that's the case?
Because actually we'll come to that, because this is basically the first form of this technology, and so they're scared to use too much of it, so they're putting like a little bit of it in people. There is another one that's just come
it's not
out.
making them younger, it's just making their faces fatter. Is that what's happening?
Yes, correct.
Like
it's
micro
refilling
fat?
because so the thing that happens when you age is that fat deposits under your skin will hollow out over time, and that's one of the biggest indicators of aging is that hollowing, which is why we keep filling people's faces with shit.
But yeah,
because
like
we're trying to
McDonald's.
counteract that. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So we're trying to counteract that. So you can basically use it to kind of redistribute fat under the skin, right? But it's sourced from cadavers. It's sourced from dead bodies. It is sourced from corpses.
My question is, I gotta ask you, right? Are they free-range corpses, or are they like imported from India? Like wigs.
The majority of this story is me investigating where these bodies come from, because it is not clear.
Is it people donating their bodies to science, so like we'll just buy them?
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask.
But there wouldn't be enough.
Worse than you think.
There would be enough
Are they
supply.
robbing graves?
There's
Like, what the
plenty,
fuck is
buddy.
happening?
I promise you, this goes down a dark hole. Hang tight, okay?
Prisoners?
So we
Is he
know
like,
we know
I was
celebrities.
about to ask that.
We know celebrities are basically blending up people's dead bodies and then injecting it into their face to stay youthful. But Renuva's tagline, by the way, is "Still you, only better."
It's the substance.
It's literally. It's literally the substance. It's literally, unironically, the fucking substance. You are blending up other people, injecting it into you, and you're still you, but only better. It's a good tagline.
Better in
I feel like
brackets
they kind
young.
of. Yeah.
It's
I feel
still
like that
you, except
tagline.
it's not, because we are injecting you with people.
Other people, yeah, it's crazy. That it's crazy that they picked a tagline that is. Like counteracts the most horrifying element of their. Yeah, it's fucking incredible. Is it synthetic protein? I'm sorry, Kat. No, it is not. Okay. Now the issue that we have here is that this is a new process, and it takes a huge amount of corpse fat to make even a couple of syringes.
Jesus.
So. The average donated body will have something, we'll get to where these bodies are coming from, but the average corpse that they're using will have about 10 to 15 kilograms of viable fat on them.
What?
Now,
okay, actually, that's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. My bad. I didn't realize per corpse.
Yeah, per corpse. So, and also that's like viable fat. So remember that we're not just looking for raw fat, we're looking for the scaffolding under the fat, which doesn't grow in the same way that fat cells do. So, now, in order to create about 15 grams of injectables, we need to process about 7 kilos of dead human flesh.
So does it take the human fat it takes in the human fat, turns it into a matrix, and then puts it in the person?
Essentially, yeah. So you take about 7 kilos of like human fat flesh, and then you strip away the fat cells themselves, leaving the scaffolding that the fat cells sit on. Then you sterilize it and do a bunch of things to try and prevent the person's body attacking it. And that is essentially the processing structure. And then you just inject all of this matrix under someone's flesh, and then their body will at first attack it, which will cause swelling, but eventually your fat cells will eventually be deposited onto the corpse matrix, and then you will fill up the scaffolding from the dead body using your own fat cells. This is all real. I have looked into the research on this. These numbers come from actual studies of people developing this technology and the patent stuff. Like, you literally need 7 kilos of dead human flesh to produce 15 grams of injectables, which is roughly speaking like 2 or 3 syringes. So you are turning an entire human dead body.
Mina just said, considering this is the US, I'm not worried about the supply.
Mina may know some aspects of this story already. So, okay. Now this is a problem, right? Because we need literally an entire dead body to produce a few syringes, and this treatment is expensive for this reason, but also you need quite a few syringes to get the job done. You'll often have to go back a few times and get the same spot injected multiple times. So where do we get all these dead bodies, guys?
Prisoners or like
prisoners of war?
Immigrants.
No.
Yeah.
No. Is it liposuction?
This is the section. No, because it has to. No, because you cannot get.
No,
it has to be alive. Or it has to be good fat.
So no, the amount that you need can't come from just one liposuction.
Yes, no one could survive that surgery. So this is the section I like to call the American corpse trade. So
what?
America has a very interesting history with body donation. Even just over the last 20 years, like before the year 2000, you obviously have like actual grave digging, body thefts, all of this kind of thing, right? And then we kind of don't really hear very much about it. But the reality is that none of that has changed, and basically no laws have been put in place to prevent the.
Wait, so they're going off
trade.
these ancient laws from like the 1800s?
No. It's worse. There are no laws. None.
What?
So,
what does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean?
We'll get into it. Don't worry. Let me. Okay, we'll come back around to the legal side. I want to focus on one story and one body broker. Okay.
Oh no.
Because this is a very famous example. All right, they're called the Biological Resource Center, and everything in this story will sound like a Bioshock villain. Like everything sounds bad. So this is. So this is based in Arizona, okay? And they operated up until about 2014 when they got shut down. Now, our story begins with a man named Jim Stauffer, who thought that he was donating his grandmother to medical science because a nurse encouraged him to, donate her body to medical science in order to help understand the Alzheimer's that killed her. Okay. And the hospital offered free cremation, and he's poor, so he's like, well, okay, I'll donate her body to science, and I won't have to pay some funeral costs. So he checks a bunch of boxes on a consent form. He says, I prohibit using her body for military testing, for traffic safety, or for any non-medical experimentation. And then this body gets donated to the BRC, the Biological Resource Center. Now, they claimed that obviously they'd just be offering some free cremation services to save him some money that he desperately needed, and her body would be treated with respect.
Okay.
The BRC receives this body, they amputate her hand, they cremate it, and they send the ashes back to him. They then sell the rest of the body to the American military for $6,000. And so our story begins. Yep.
What for?
Oh, well, the military decided to use his grandmother's body to test roadside landmines on her body, along with 20 others, blasting her with explosives, and then dumping her.
If only we had Palantir to prevent that.
True. I would like to show you a picture of the bodies.
Bruh.
Okay, continue.
What is this?
It's the military testing. Let me pull this up a little bit. Woo!
Ah!
What was that?
Don't worry about it. It's not real. So
this is Saddam Hussein in the tunnel, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is 2 dead bodies that have been helpfully obscured by an outline so that it's TOS friendly, and they are basically strapped to something that is meant to essentially represent a American military armored personnel carrier. They then blast this structure with explosives to try and learn how they can better construct an armored personnel carrier to prevent damage to the soldiers within when they hit an IED out in fucking Afghanistan or whatever. So the American military is buying corpses from this corpse trader and then essentially bombing them in order to test how to prevent soldiers from getting killed. Yeah. So this is a picture of 2 actual real corpses strapped up like this. And they've just covered up the corpses with, MS Paint.
They better be lucky. If lightning strikes that, they've got 2 new people they have to look after.
That's true, yeah. They've got 2 new soldiers. Super soldiers. This sounds illegal. Sputnik, you'll be happy to learn that, once again, this is completely legal. Moving on! Fucking horrific.
I guess if you... I mean... Never mind, go on.
No!
Okay, appreciate it. Finish your thought, goddammit!
I lost it.
Amazing.
Yeah,
so anyway,
$6
grand is about the going rate for a body. And I would like to. We will get into this in more detail later.
For reference, Smug, in Glasgow, they recently sold the underground, the old underground trains, right? To buy a cabin from the old underground trains was £5,000.
That's cool. So you could either buy a man's dead gran or a cabin from a train.
Or train carriage, yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty good. I actually don't
Which
know
way,
what
Western
I would take.
man?
Yeah, true. I would take the train cabin, I would turn it into a shed, because the body's going to decompose. That's a perishable good.
Yeah. Well, the problem with the train cabin is it stinks of piss.
That's true, yeah. Oh, well, so does the body.
It's the Glasgow
so really, you lose out
underground,
either
just
way.
to be clear.
Yeah, there you go.
It's basically 2 corpses.
But yeah, so this is the kind of test that Jim's gran ended up in before they dumped the body somewhere.
Jesus.
Now, one interesting thing about the American body trade is that we have no idea where her body was dumped. We don't know, because the only state in America that keeps records on the corpse trade is New York. And we only know that because Reuters did a Freedom of Information request on the state health department to get data up to 2014. So nowadays, I think there's only 4 states in all of America that do any tracking on where corpses go.
Jesus.
Any tracking. I cannot overemphasize this. Once a body has ended up through a funeral home system, it has disappeared. No one knows where it is.
Before you continue,
yeah.
Should we not keep this knowledge away from people like Alex Jones?
Why? Because he's going to turn it into a massive conspiracy. Honestly, this is the kind of thing that deserves a
feel like
conspiracy.
This is his argument for Sandy Hook, dude.
Oh, what? Because it's so easy to acquire bodies.
Well, no, this is an argument he could make. He's much cheaper than that.
Right. I mean, honestly, this would, yeah, you could actually do a lot of crisis. God, you could stage so many disasters.
Airplane crashes.
Oh, yeah,
to be
true.
fair, a lot of conspiracy theories in this world right now, nowadays, you know.
I Are you high?
What do you want to say about the Jews, Bambi? State your piece.
No.
What does she want to say about the
Bambi,
Jews?
what's happened to you? Did you come to this episode drunk? What's going on?
Are you okay?
Okay.
She's drunk and high.
Let me check.
I've
Let
just
me
been
check.
studying all day.
Get yourself a wine. Get yourself a glass of wine. Holy shit.
There's nothing in there.
Not.
Okay, all right. So, do you guys want to take a little? Do you guys want to take a little get? Okay, so look, we've got 4 states in America. Okay, out of 50 that track
Water, fire,
anything
earth, and
about
lava.
the bodies. Yes, true. Yes, the Fire Kingdom is the one that does the most tracking. Across those 4 states, the numbers that we have available suggest that overall, this is 4 states, about 10,000 bodies a year get trafficked into this system.
Bruh.
Multiply that by the
shit.
number of states that have 0 reporting numbers. It's not
Wait,
good.
Dispel says something good. Who is most vulnerable to COVID? Diabetics and obese people. Dude, was there a surplus of fat guys?
yeah.
Which is why this industry's appeared?
Maybe bodies got cheaper because so many people died during COVID.
Bruh.
Holy shit.
That's fucking
So
crazy.
yeah, so we don't know where the bodies are ending up. Although we can make some guesses because the times we have figured out where the bodies end up, like for example, New York University, a very prestigious institution, got caught dumping all of their donated bodies into mass graves.
Ooh?
Yep, they dug big pits in the ground and they dumped them like Holocaust victims into a big hole, and then they covered it up.
Have you
and they
watched
got caught.
any of Last of Us season 2?
No. I'm waiting for the whole thing to come out. So
Oh,
I can
okay.
binge
Well,
it.
this is not really a spoiler. It's more like the zombies. There's a scene where there's like a pile of dumped corpses that people think is just like a fucking corpse pile, but obviously it's not. And it just reminds me of that. It's like, if there's a zombie fucking apocalypse, have we just got like booby traps of thousands of corpses?
Oh shit! You're right. That would be so cool.
Buried across the country?
There's mass graves across the country of like finished bodies. Yeah. Holy.
You know, it's funny that I decided to come on stream to get away from thinking about dead people and
You joined
it's a story about
the zombie episode?
I cannot escape it.
You know what, Bambi? It's actually it's fair enough that this story makes you feel a little bit bad. Going back to the Biological Resource Center, I wanted to look at some of the euphemisms that the industry uses so that it makes you feel a little bit better. Yeah, should we look at that? So the Biological Resource
These have
Center,
been
which
tested.
obviously
These have been
itself,
paddled.
Oh, wait,
Yeah, these
Smug, I just have
this is in
one
their marketing
comment.
materials. Yes,
Why do you not have a presentation? Like a visual
this is a
presentation.
presentation.
like you always do.
Well, I'm not doing a presentation. We're doing a fun little.
Why not?
I don't think we've ever done a
fun
presentation
story.
on stream. Looks at
This is a
camera.
podcast now, Bambi.
You have. Okay, fine.
I've done the brat. That's
Go
Patreon only. Only Patreons.
No,
get,
I'm not talking about just the brat. You idiot. Doesn't matter.
What
Go
else
on,
was a
proceed.
presentation?
Go on.
Yeah. Okay.
Go on.
So, I looked into some of the marketing materials for some of these organizations, okay, including the Biological Resource Center. The Biological Resource Center refers to the bodies as, quote, anatomical gifts.
Oh my god.
Rather than using the phrase corpse harvesting, that becomes tissue recovery. You just pick up a dainty little tissue off the ground.
Oh my god.
Now, you may need to discuss occasionally how much you can harvest from each dead body. Well, they call that the donor yield. You know, like picking berries.
Whoa. We had a high donor yield this year.
Yeah, we had a great, right? Like
10,000 corpses.
Excellent work on your tissue recovery. Your donor yield has been exceptional this year.
I'm a human farmer.
Yeah, a human farmer. Yeah, that's great. Oh god. Now, obviously, mass graves is a pretty upsetting term. So, they refer to body disposal as your final disposition partner, because your final disposition is to be in a mass grave.
Jesus.
Holy shit.
And body dealers, which is body brokers as they're often called colloquially, is a bit
Woke
gruesome.
grave robbers.
Woke grave robbers, yeah. So that's a bit gruesome. So they call them NADOs, which is non-transplant NADOs, non-transplant anatomical donation organization.
Bruh.
Yeah.
Bruh. That makes it sound like they talk about clothes.
Yeah, literally. So I mean, like, obviously, all this is designed to try and like, sell this to you when your mum is on your deathbed, on her deathbed. Like they might use phrases to ask. Again, in the brochures that I've looked at, they'll, maybe you'll have a nurse trying to convince you, saying like, your mother would be part of a quote legacy preservation program, serving as surgical training material in their whole body educational service unit via a respectful utilization pathway. They'll use phrases like, they'll thank you for your posthumous contribution to innovation, and then your mum will get processed and medically introduced.
Is that what happened to RoboCop?
Right ass cheek. Yeah. Whoa! My chin feathers grew back.
That's horrible. What? How's that? Jesus Christ! Let me help you. Let me just get that off you.
Thank you.
There we go.
Look, there we go. I need a little shave. I need to shave the chin. Okay. My body's already rebuilding fat deposits in the chin. You did a terrible job,
It's
Doc.
great technology.
It's horrible.
It's great technology. It's hard to overcome.
It's coming back.
It's hard to overcome necromancy. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not that kind of wizard.
So yeah, the BRC is kind of an incredible organization. They eventually got raided by the FBI, and when the FBI showed up, they found a dude and his unemployed friend thawing a frozen torso with a garden hose outside in the car park to get it ready for shipping.
What?
They literally had a dead body. They were shooting it with a garden hose to thaw it out because they needed to ship it not frozen.
How does that not warrant the fucking police?
No, it did. The FBI showed up. The neighbors had been complaining. Yeah.
Why did they need it not frozen?
Sorry. I've just realized something. It's obviously a front for a vampire coven.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay,
it has to be. It has to be. And they've just made certain celebrities vampires.
By the time it got there, if it's not frozen, what?
It's
maybe it was too frozen.
I don't know why. Yeah, I think they probably had to make it look like
it might have been in a block of ice when they didn't need a block of ice. They just needed it like lightly frosted.
Yeah, they had to like chisel it out of an ice cube.
How far
or maybe
away
it
were
got
they
stuck
shipping
to
it?
like another guy's hands or something,
Oh no, some guy got his tongue stuck to it. I dare you to lick it. Get out there!
I mean, with the idiots in the US, I believe that, yeah.
Well, again, the guy got his unemployed friend to, quote, help out. There is FBI documentation that talks about the scene, and the guy's literally like, yeah, it was a two-man job, so I just got my buddy to help me.
Vampires. That's obvious.
Yeah, literal
It's
vampires.
a cover-up to hide the corpses.
Now, with all this happening, it is kind of like you kind of start to buy into the idea that celebrities are literally eating people, right? Like the adrenochrome thing starts to sound a little bit less insane. What's crazy is that these conspiracies basically have kind of come true. Like it's not like the adrenochrome keeps you young.
Saying.
Yeah, I see what you. Well, you tried to say it twice and failed both times.
You went.
Yeah.
Okay, I should not be expected to have my brain working. I'm sorry.
Well, you're a woman. We didn't need that from
Just
you.
a girl, exactly.
Exactly. You're just girl.
Yeah, your lobotomy goes after this
just
show.
A girl.
You're double booked.
Yeah. The lobotomy is the after show. Patreon exclusive.
See, I don't even need a lobotomy.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. So. When the FBI entered the BRC, they found bodies stored in coolers. They also found and when I say coolers, I do mean like beer coolers filled with hands, feet, and heads. They even discovered
because those are useless
cooler
parts. Nobody wants those.
Filled with severed dicks.
Oh.
They found the cops.
Wiz got excited at that.
Yeah, he got.
That's but of course you'd have to freeze them so you can use them. It's like that trend.
Oh, no!
Do you remember that trend where when Twilight was a thing, where women were when Twilight was a thing, women used to put cucumbers in the freezer because apparently Edward Cullen was like freezing cold even when he was rock hard.
Ice cold dick.
Yeah, because he was a vampire.
Oh my god.
It was like fucking a marble statue. They're all made of stone in that.
Women
book,
were doing that. What is okay?
But it was like a problem because there was internal like tears and stuff because it got stuck.
Oh no! Of course, that's not good. He got stuck. Ah! Sorry, I just imagined a cucumber going up my vagina, and that made me
getting a bum bum.
Yeah.
A bum bum.
Bum,
Wait, what did Oscar
It's getting bam bummed up the bum.
Bum bum bum. You're doing great, Bambi. Hang in there. Okay. So, now in the
mental
final room
wear-off
that the
scene.
FBI, the FBI obviously raided this place. They found the remains of a funny little office prank, where someone had sewed the head of a woman onto a great big fat man and hung the body off the wall as a display.
These are vampires. These are actually vampires.
Right?
They're real vampires.
These are Fallout Raiders. These are actual Fallout Raiders level of like mutilation and desecration of corpses.
No, it's not.
You know,
It's fucking. It's the fucking. Super mutants. It's beyond raiders. It's actual super mutants.
Do you want to know the name of the man who owned this facility?
Oh, Dr. Evil?
No. I'm scared to know.
His name was Stephen Gore.
No way.
He's a vampire.
Literally.
He's a vampire.
Literally.
No, this is satire.
I think you'll find it's Dr. Gore.
I promise you this is all true to a word, okay? I did not make up a single element of this. It's terrifying.
Give me your sources.
So that I have sources. So the BRC, now the reason the BRC actually got in trouble is because they ended up accidentally handling a lot of infected bodies. They would pick up a body and they would test it and they would find like hepatitis C, for example. And then they would basically tell the donation pathway, so this would be the hospitals or the funeral homes, and they would say, hey, we can't pay you, this is an infected body, so we're just going to dispose of it. And then they would sell it anyway and keep the extra money.
Oh.
No, the body brokers lied to the hospital saying we won't pay you because this body was infected, sorry. And then they would sell it anyway and keep the extra money that they didn't pay the hospital.
Bruh.
So a bunch of research got fucked up because they were sending around hepatitis-infected brain tissue. One researcher accidentally stuck themselves with a needle that they just used on the hepatitis-infected foot.
Why were they using needles?
Well, because they were doing research. Like these are the guys who bought the bodies at the end of the chain. They were researchers who were like they were looking into like pediatric.
Once it got to the seller, the buyer
pediatric
even.
medical research. Yeah, so they used a needle on an infected hepatitis foot, and then they accidentally stuck themselves with it, and they didn't know that the flesh was infected with hepatitis.
It's insane that bodies even get sold for research, but fine.
Oh yeah,
it's insane that that's even a thing.
Don't worry, we'll be digging into how the bodies end up in this trafficked state soon. It's very bad.
Define soon.
Momentarily, relax. You're fine. Jesus Christ, she's already crashing out. Jesus. Now, the reason the BRC got investigated was when Stephen Gore attempted to smuggle 10 human heads into Canada.
Why?
He was selling them. He wanted to sell them in Canada. It was easier to trade American heads in Canada.
So wait, they're door-to-door body part salesman.
Hold on.
Literally, yeah.
What for research?
No, he has no seller. He had no buyer. He had no buyer yet. He was going around places being like, "Do you want heads?"
This is not like this shit is not the black market, right? This is like a legit.
Yeah, it's a lovely little loophole.
There is no market. There is no white market, so there is no black market.
Yep.
Like, none of this is illegal. Stephen Gore was an insurance salesman with no medical training who decided to join the industry out of love for it. In his own words.
Oh my God.
He learned how to butcher bodies on the internet. The consent forms, which he drafted up himself.
What, lively?
He did not. He has no training. Yes, he said he learned it from the internet and some books. He has no medical training. He's an insurance salesman.
There's no internet and some books on how to do fucking autopsies.
Apparently there is. Apparently you can Google it. ChatGPT, how do I dismember this corpse?
What? How fucking insane. I started on local animals. And then I moved to...
Literally, yeah. Now, he drafted up the consent forms, and the consent forms were presented to people who just recently lost their loved ones, and they were offered a free cremation that they otherwise wouldn't really have been able to afford. So, of course, like every single story in America, only the poor were negatively affected here, so everything's fine. It was just poor people that this happened to.
Okay, thank God.
Yeah, even when they signed the consent forms and understood them properly...
Remember, if you do not donate to the stream, the pond skunk will have to start donating the bodies we keep fresh in the pond.
Yeah, that's true, actually. That's why I'm here.
Does it have?
I was close to cutting up Smug's limbs when he was under. I thought I'd just take a little bit off him.
What?
You had fingers.
Oh no, my opposable thumbs! I was gonna have thumbs. Finally, I could finally hold my loved ones properly, like Bambi.
Me? Ew.
Now I've only got mitts. I only have mittens. I hate poor
Mitts.
people. Yeah, true.
Mitts.
So, Reuters did an investigation where they reviewed a lot of these consent cases. They reviewed 34 cases, okay? Now, in half of those cases, no one ever mentioned the military as like a potential place these bodies could end up in. By the way, these were all bodies that were used in military research, so this was the exploding people research. So half of them didn't consent, and the other half were never told anything about the military. The BRC basically ended up sending heavily redacted forms to the army that claimed that there was consent for it when there wasn't. They basically just redacted out the parts where they explicitly said that they didn't consent to it. And the army never really looked into it because they don't give a fuck what contractors do, so they just assumed it was all above board.
Okay, thank God the chat is... Okay, I thought that I was saying Reuters wrong. Because you've been saying Reuters.
Reuters? Oh, it's Reuters. You're right. It is Reuters. My bad.
You've been saying Reuters, and I was like, am I getting this wrong?
Yeah, sorry, it should have been Reuters. Did I say Reuters? That's embarrassing.
It's
well,
Reuters.
I said Reuters like 5 times.
It's Router, yeah. So a couple times the BRC did end up doing follow-up calls to try and like get consent after the fact. We have records of some of those calls. We actually can find out exactly what they said to, this was a widow, okay, whose husband had just recently died at like age 50, so it was a fairly young death. This was a couple days after he died, and they called her up and they said, as next of kin, do you agree to amend the consent form to allow, quote, special non-medical projects that could involve exposures to destructive forces? For example, impacts, crashes, ballistic injuries, and blasts involving agencies such as the military. This is
Are we in a place that's gone back to fucking medieval times where we have to confirm the body's buried? Is that where we're at?
I think we might be there, yeah. I think we've reached the point
like fucking vampires. It's actually like fucking vampires, dude.
In the call, the widow replies while crying, saying, yes, I do. And the body broker replied, well, excellent, that takes care of everything. And they hung up. This is the best sales job ever. Imagine calling people all day and just going, can I blow up your husband? Oh god. So yeah, the consent forms are like insanely weird and confusing. They use a lot of language that's obviously designed to be as like confusing and difficult to understand as possible. Most crucially, I think the consent form will basically say, we'll do a cremation, and you'll receive the partial cremated remains of the returned. That's basically the phrase they use. Now, most people assume what that means is you're gonna like do some skin
they'll take the
sampling
little
or,
bit
like,
of they'll take the arm off and give the body back, not the other way around.
Yes, they in fact give you a hand. That's the standard practice, and then they take the entire rest of the body and they cut it up and sell it for parts. Now, a body goes for $6,000, but you can make up to $15,000 if you cut it up into different pieces and sell the pieces individually.
It's literally fucking like slaughtering cows.
Yeah, basically, it is a butchery system. It's crazy. Now, remember, this is 10,000 bodies in 4 states. If you were to, inflate that across the country, there's probably about 100k bodies moving around a year that end up getting trafficked in this way. This is a business where you essentially get free human corpse capital delivered to you because these are donated. You pay a funeral home. I've seen numbers between $500 to $1,000 per body. So funeral homes will convince grieving families to take this option as like free cremation.
Wait, sorry. I just need to clarify something, right? So the company isn't buying them from the hospital.
No, funeral directors at the moment seem to be the main source. They will basically say, we'll give you a free cremation if you let us donate the body to medical science. Yeah, so they are basically scamming poor, grieving families into giving up the corpses of their loved ones.
The money, the giving up the money, the flesh value.
They don't. Yes, the families get a free cremation. That's what they get, okay? They're told, you'll get a free cremation if you let us donate the body to medical science. Based in Cell.
This background is very dreary. Can we go back to the bathtub from last episode?
It's an art film!
they're understimulated.
Learn
They can't handle
culture.
it.
Learn culture.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Love you, thanks
We're
for
doing
the
a raise
donation.
ahead, goddammit. Thank you, love you, appreciate it. But yeah, now again, many of these bodies don't end up getting cremated. They'll cut the hand off, they'll cremate the hand, and then they'll send it back. And that fulfills the contractual obligation. And then they can dump the bodies in mass graves or blow them up with landmines, and no one gives a fuck. You can buy, you can buy these bodies and do whatever the fuck you want with them. Now here's where it gets more unpleasant, and this is why I wanted to bring up the body trade when it comes to Renuva. Stephen Gore, the man who ran BRC, got a 12-month suspended sentence. He never went to prison. And a $100,000 fine. Do you want to know what he was convicted for?
What?
He was convicted for sending undeclared infectious tissue through the postal service. If he had put a label on it saying this body has hepatitis, he would have got off scot-free.
Bruh.
He sold 5,000 bodies.
Whoa. It's a small army.
And he sold them for thousands of dollars each. Yeah. None of this is illegal or even regulated. Cutting bodies up and leaving them hanging in your facility as jokes is fine. Blowing up people's grandmas without their consent is fine. The desecration of building up like coolers of human dicks, I guess as for like collection, is fine. None of this is illegal, and unfortunately, none of the families who found out what happened to their loved ones
got their
has
dicks
been able
back.
to get any kind of restitution. Yep, nothing.
Nobody got their dicks back.
It is so legal.
Do you know how much a
Reuters-
grieving widow would love to get her husband's dick back?
Well, that's maybe an Israeli woman. What? Do you have context for that, Bambi? Bambi?
I think she's dead. Oh no.
She's being shy. She's being harvested right
They
now.
got me.
They got her, yeah. So, all that Stephen Gore did, legally, that was wrong, was to send contaminated tissue. Nothing else he did mattered. The thawing out a body... Oh, and also that employee, he got a minor pollution order for the corpse juice that was running off of the thawing body into the street.
Buddha.
Is it because a
That's all we got.
different governmental body deals with actual criminal offenses like that? And because there's never an
no, it's
investigation, nothing ever happened?
What is Oscar saying? Turn
there are
off,
no
turn
laws.
off, no non on.
I don't know what that means. What? Thanks for getting distracted by chat, Bambi. That's super helpful. That's very cool. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Keep going, Smug.
What? Okay. So, yeah, so the industry is just massive and unregulated. Obviously, they offer free cremations to poor people who can't afford them. They cut off a small chunk of them to fulfill that obligation, and then they carve them up and sell them on for thousands of dollars. There is no registration process. Body brokers work anonymously. They don't have any training. They don't
It's
need
never
any
been
training.
easier to be a vampire. Am I wrong?
Literally, yeah. Yeah,
You're not
literally.
wrong.
To be
Why
clear,
would this
tomorrow-
infrastructure exist if not for vampires? Because they can take as many body parts as they want, sell the rest, and be like, yeah, we sell the whole body.
I think they want fresh blood. I think vampires don't
Yeah,
eat
but the
corpses,
thing with
though. I think it's-
vampires is, yeah, exactly. They need
No, I
the
watched the
blood, not
Timothy
corpse.
Chocolate Man movie where he ate them. Do you remember?
No, I didn't know vampires eat bodies. It's more of
Timothy
a
Chocolate Man did a
cannibal thing.
movie where he ate them. I think it was called Bodies. Or Bones.
okay.
It was called
Chocolate Man?
Bones. It was called Bones.
Chalamet.
No,
Timothée
Bones,
Chalamet?
that's the TV show.
Oh fuck, was it Lovely Bones? No, that's a different one.
Lovely Bones? Pretty Little Bones?
Chat,
Bones, that's
you know
the
what I'm
one
talking
with,
about.
The boner? It's the boner.
What's her
I think
face?
Chat knows what I'm talking
Zoe
about.
Deschanel's sister. And she's a autistic forensic anthropologist.
What?
Bones, the show?
Oh, Bones, the show. Yeah, okay, fine, yeah.
Timothy Chocolate Man's
I mean, yeah,
not in
but they
this.
didn't-
This came out last year,
they-
and he ate people. He was a vampire that ate everyone.
They didn't... Did they have a bone in Bones?
What?
Actually, yeah.
Bones and All? Is that
Oh
what
my
it was
God.
called? I think it's called Bones and All.
Bones and all. Oh, okay.
The
Alright.
Demon Slayer, very vampire like demons eat
Anyway.
corpses.
Because they
I wanna-
eat
I
the
wanna-
bones and all. That was the thing.
Timothy
Anyway,
Chalamet was good as Wonka.
so anyone can start this up. Anyone can do this. So a lot of funeral homes have just started doing this.
Should we get
but
into this?
actually, random insurance guys can basically start these systems up. Here's the other thing. you don't need any kind of licensing to buy human body parts. So Reuters decided that one of their journalists would try to buy 2 human heads. They succeeded
Was it a
immediately.
2 for 1 deal?
They sent 3 emails to a body broker. The guy basically said, what do you want it for? Is it for medical research or is it for testing? And they said, it's for research. And the guy was like, cool. And then they fulfilled the invoice and they actually sent them 2 heads. So Reuters bought 2
Jesus.
heads with no license, nothing. No checks. They then sent those 2 heads to a medical
Ethan Klein.
researcher.
Oh.
Yeah, true. That's where the human bones came from, yeah. So they sent those 2 heads to a medical researcher who said this is basically the sloppiest work I've ever seen. This is fucking horrific. This is a nightmare. They had like they basically had no identifying like tagging. The medical history was essentially absent, so no one had any idea if the tissue was infected or not. It was incredibly dangerous. Like they're just shipping around body parts with almost no paperwork whatsoever.
Nice. Sounds like America.
So chat, you today can basically buy a human head. I think they paid about $1,500. So you could basically buy yourself
That's
a
not
fresh
bad.
human head for $1,500.
If
Yeah.
you were in a
literally-
movie, right? Why wouldn't you just start doing snuff films again?
Yeah, you could just bash up. You could bash up
Oh,
real bodies.
So it's legal for me to buy the head and bash it up, but if I put a camera on it, now it's illegal? Surely not.
It is.
Why?
It's
Why
not
would it
illegal.
be? I don't think it is.
So I mean that would be probably obscenity laws that you would end up. So it
Not-
would end up kind of crossing. Yeah, but so that's the thing though, right? Like
But what if I show? But I can show the paperwork now.
Well, you're not. So okay. So this is the
The
thing.
problem
So
with
there are
snuff movies is the ambiguity of its production. But if you have
Right.
a completely
A real
legal
human
paper
body.
trail, you know, I didn't murder someone in this. I bought the head legally from
I bought
Heads
the
and
body.
Co.
Yeah. Next time I murder someone, I'm just gonna draft up some paperwork and say I bought the corpse and I'm just burying it in a mass grave for personal reasons.
Yeah.
Segue into Ethan Klein. We're not. No.
No, definitely not. But you can. But yeah, it's pretty easy to get a hold of human skulls apparently.
Yeah, human skulls
yeah,
are all over the place. Loaner boxes too.
So when. Oh god. So yeah, funeral homes, they get paid for how many bodies they can get shipped to the body brokers. So they coerce grieving families into the free cremation services. And there are no legal rights to learn what happened to the body of one of your loved ones. They are essentially a commodity. They're
their property.
Yeah, their property. So, human corpse capital has been used in lawsuits between body brokers as collateral for demanded payments. So what that means is, one time, a body broker sued another body broker, and in the legal suit, they said
paid him
if
off
they
in
can't
bits.
continue to pay us, we'll pay us
Dude,
off in
that's
bits.
that's where the container of dicks came from.
Oh my god, it was human corpse capital. It's a collateral. It's
They were
literally
like, yeah, okay,
collateral.
we'll give you approximately $100 in flesh, and it was all penises.
Yeah, it's $1 dicks.
It's like paying off your bills
Oh,
in
no.
like pennies.
Yeah. It's $101. How does this get taxed? Just like any other regular business. Like they don't.
Yep.
I think they. Yeah, I don't know what non-transplant tissue is categorized under, but that's what they call it, non-transplant tissue.
It's
So
probably
here's
science.
the-
Any sort of biological lab, like rats, science labs, rats.
Yeah,
you know?
you're right. Medical research and stuff. So
Yeah.
this is why there's no regulation. Is because there are lots of regulations when it comes to organ transplant tissue, right? Hence non-transplant and transplant tissue. And there's lots of very strict regulations about organ transplants because there's lots of nasty incentives to kill people in order to sell on the organ black market. But none of these exist for non-transplant tissue. So as long as you don't put any of this tissue in another person, it doesn't become a problem. Now, this is where it
When
gets
they're
weird.
still
because
alive, to
Renuva-
clarify, because it's
they-
fine to attach them to each other.
Yes, Bambi?
Okay, so Renuva is illegal
Interesting,
because
right?
they would be putting these tissues into them.
That is correct, yeah. So actually, New York
What?
State in 2022 banned these injectables while they did an investigation to understand whether it falls under what they would call amniotic tissue injections. So this is mainly stem cell based stuff.
Yeah,
this is
that's what I
like
was
to
going to
try
say.
and
It
prevent
sounds
people
very
using
similar to stem
babies.
cells. Not in the way it works, but like the
Yeah.
industry.
Yes, yeah, it is quite similar to stem cells. The only difference being they blend entire human bodies in order to get the adipose the fat tissue.
That's what they were
the
called.
only horror
Doctor
of this
Who.
story is the hyper facade of cash coercing flesh for private luxury is falling away. That's. I mean, like, yeah, literally, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's good for
gone, but,
vampires. Vampires are back in 2025. Full moon every night.
So here's another issue. There's basically no privacy here because it's very easy to follow medical documentation with the bodies, and all you need to do is compare the death dates on the corpse you bought and the location that you bought it from to obituaries in the area in order to find out the real identity of the person you're cutting up. So it would be quite easy as a little prank to like buy someone's mum's head and leave it on their doorstep. And all you would get is like a littering order.
Or your own doorstep and just have it framed.
Yeah, frame your enemy's
Move it
mother's
across
head.
from them, put it on a spike in your garden. Say you're studying
We can
flies.
pike 'em. Fuck yeah, pike 'em. Yeah, you're doing a decomposition study.
Yeah.
Which funnily enough is what so Reuters had a separate story they were doing.
Yeah,
on
sorry,
some body that was
Smug. I
found
need
in
to
the woods.
clarify. Just to be clear
Yes.
here, in this case, real life is more evil than Doctor Who, because in Doctor Who, the fat babies didn't kill anyone. They didn't require
Really?
anyone to die. They turned the fat
you're
into
right.
people, but it didn't. It just took it away from them.
I forgot about the fat babies. I do
And
remember
it was
that
only
episode. That
once
was
they
crazy.
panicked did they turn it into a full body conversion in the last second.
Right.
But they never meant to kill anyone with it. It was never designed to kill people. Whereas this inherently requires death.
Yeah, isn't it? So we basically have an incentivized body pipeline where we need tens of thousands of cadavers being thrown into, medical research and military research and now pharmaceuticals in order to produce things that really only the wealthy are able to afford and benefit from in America these days. So we need like a continuous pipeline of coerced poor people to kind of send bodies into the system without really a clear knowledge of what's happening to them. Every single person who has sent a body in without and then was later contacted by Reuters in their investigation was horrified at what happened, tried to pursue some kind of legal grounds and realized there are literally no laws protecting them. They have no right to learn what happened to the body of their loved ones. They've lost all like
What celebrity is my dad in? And not in the good way.
Literally. So, yeah. So to answer your question, guys, that's why Lindsay Lohan looks hot.
Yeah, she looked great.
Yeah.
I think they just made her into a vampire, and this entire industry is to cover up vampire activities.
I think this is vampiric. They are literally blending dead poor people to inject into celebrity faces to keep them looking young and hot and prim and proper. It's very fucked up. However, there is a bit of good news. I've got a couple of lights at the end of the tunnel.
We can do it.
Right?
Anyone can do it if they have enough money. Is that the good news?
No, no, because unfortunately inequality and social mobility has been getting worse and worse and worse, so you will not ever be able to afford to do it if you can't already afford it. However, here's some funny things. So in looking into Renuva, obviously Renuva has done quite a bit of work in order to get rid of their sort of scandalous image of being corpse filler. They've done a pretty good job. Most people
Corpse
don't.
filler.
Most people don't give a fuck. Most people don't care. They're totally fine with it. But I looked into some doctors who have kind of discussed the potential health problems associated with Renuva, and one concern is that when you blend up dead bodies, pathogens that can't be screened for properly, particularly viruses, can end up in the matrix tissue, and there's no way to screen for them. Do you want to know what the doctors using Renuva have claimed as the solution to this problem?
What?
We have extremely robust donor screening and processing, and we work with many body brokers with stellar reputations.
Awesome.
What?
Now,
But
there is no way this is true because there are no regulations dictating how body brokers work. They don't require any licensing, and Renuva has not demonstrated any kind of, internal licensing process that they require in order to get access to the corpses. So essentially,
It's the trick is all the time
celebrities-
because that's what they do with like eggs. You know, like free range eggs and like open sky eggs or whatever. You know, like that's all fake labels. None of that's actually certified.
Oh, yeah, for
there's like
sure.
one or two actual certifications, and those are those eggs that are like $20 or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Free range
no,
just
you're
means
totally right.
there's a section of the paddock that's outside, but it's still cage farming.
Yeah, Yeah, the difference being that you're injecting it into your skin instead of eating it. Yeah, like it's not. It is not safe. This is a totally unregulated industry. These bodies can be completely sourced by amateurs, unlicensed amateur businesses,
unemployed amateurs, as we know.
Yes, yep. Scamming poor people who are disease infested people out of the bodies of their loved ones. So yeah. Now, there are new versions of this product coming out, which you mentioned earlier, right? Like, why aren't we doing this on butts? And, you know, right now, Renuva is mainly used on, like, people's necks and faces and hands, in particular hands, because it's actually very useful for de-aging hand skin. It's hard to get collagen and hyaluronic acid to look right in a hand, but this is like a
blood
subtle,
ne'er come out?
natural.
It's Lady Macbeth.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
it's just other people's blood in your hands.
They've scratched away the fat deposits in their hand from the grief and stress of blending dead bodies. So there's a new version of Renuva that's just come out, which is called Aloe Clay. Now, the innovation for Aloe Clay is that it retains some fat cells alongside the matrix, so it's better for like bulkier work. It requires 5 times the adipose tissue to produce.
So 200 people?
Do you want? Basically, you need you.
It's like the fucking
3 and 5
nitrogen cycle, but for fat.
Yeah, true. It's crazy that we do all this work to like get rid of fat in America, and then they're like literally churning it out, blending it, and putting it back into celebrities who are too skinny. Fucking crazy.
No, Smug, don't you get it? That's the plan from the start.
What? Well, they get the poor people fat
They
so that
sat
they produce
on this
enough
technology
fat that we
for
can do it.
decades,
Yeah.
dude. For decades.
Well, the fat people sat on it first.
No.
Because they're sitting on the fat.
The fat people don't sit, they lie.
Like Bambi. She's just sitting there.
Yeah, that's true.
Are you
You guys are
What's going
doing
on?
so well, though.
Bambi, what
Nothing
happened?
to do.
Did Smug
What's
say
your-
something
what's
to you
your-
before
May or may-
stream
What
that
happened?
made you
Did I
sad?
upset you? Do you want a little back rub?
No, get the fuck away from me.
Okay, sorry.
Disgusting.
I was just touching you without consent. I thought you were a dead
Disgusting.
body. I didn't realize you were still I didn't realize you were still breathing. That was my bad. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I misread that. She was so still, I thought she was dead, and I thought I had total ownership of her body with no
Yeah,
legal
well, that
consequences,
happens
but-
soon. We're still waiting
deserve
for the
that.
meds
Yeah.
to take care of her.
What do you do to get rid of fat in America? I make people schizophrenic and tell
make
them to
fun
stop
of them.
taking their meds. That too, yeah. Yeah, Wiz bullies them. Wiz bullies fat
Yeah,
Americans.
plus size, shout out plus size Park Hoppers, the best Instagram page on Instagram. Where they rate how
So-
much a fat person can fit in Disneyland rides.
So,
Spoilers,
I actually-
they can't unless it has wheelchair access. Go on.
Jesus Christ. So I'm gonna show. This is
Because
probably
there's wide as a
probably
wheelchair.
safe for work.
Sorry.
This is probably safe for work. So I'm gonna roll the dice on this. So Bambi, I don't suppose that you ran into any discourse about the hip dip at any point in the last couple years.
What specific discourse are you?
You know
I mean,
about
I've
hip
seen
dips?
I mean, yeah, of course.
What is it? What is this?
What do you mean? What is this?
Tell me what a hip dip is.
By the
woman.
way, Bambi, I'm just gonna let you know
when you
you're on a
have like a little
podcast.
dip in your. What?
Just so you know you're on a podcast.
You're live. You're live on the podcast right now, Bambi.
I no.
Okay, cool. So what's a hip dip?
Okay. It's but you have like a little dips in your hip. Like it's literally self-explanatory.
Okay,
You know,
do you
I
have
was
hip
crying
dips?
to my mom about them the other day, and she was like, "No, but they
no.
look nice."
You said they didn't look nice?
Well, I didn't like them.
Why don't you like your hip dips?
I guess the answer you want is because I was conditioned by the patriarchy to not like my hip dips because it's blah, blah, blah.
Well, so this is the thing, like, I swear to God, no one heard anything about hip dips, like, a couple of years ago. And then a couple of years ago, this fucking propaganda campaign of women kept coming out saying, hip dips are gross, hip dips are terrible, this sucks. And they posted all their fucking hip dips. Well, luckily, this corpse filler, Aloe Clay, is designed specifically to solve the manufactured problem that was created by this conditioning process. Behold,
Hip on dippers?
the hip undipper. Yep. This is Aloe Clay, 25 cc's. So this is basically one corpse each side. No, this would be 15 grams. This would be about one entire human dead body injected in each side of this woman's hip dips.
Yay!
You can see the hip dips disappear. One corpse each side. What do you think, Bambi? Worth it? This costs $20,000.
No.
You wouldn't take this treatment, but you hate your hip dips. It's worth it, Bambi.
I
Look.
don't hate them.
Look how great she looks. Do you see how that dip has undipped? It's round now.
I've looked at this several times, and there's still dips on the after.
Don't tell her that. No, they're gonna blend
They
more poor
killed
people.
several people for nothing.
So yeah, I just want to emphasize now, when you see these kind of cosmetic changes, anytime you see the words aloe clay or Renuva or any of the anything that says like adipose matrix, these are dead people being injected into living people to slightly adjust their body shape so that they can feel a little bit better about their dips. So you know what? Love your hip dips and love poor dead people. Please stop putting dead people inside your body. It's not good for you.
Okay.
What? What's wrong? Are you
But
gonna
what
keep
if I
doing it,
want
Bambi?
to? Yeah.
I knew it! This is the problem with women. They don't care. They will infest themselves with dead flesh just to
These are the
make
same people
patriarchy
that
1%
wipe
happier.
whale fat in their lips to appear aroused.
What?
That's not a real thing.
Jordan Peterson told me it was a thing.
Oh yeah! I forgot. God damn it, yeah.
That's
yeah,
a
That's
callback.
Podcast?
Yeah, that's a banger. Crash,
That
crash
Renuva
Beatles.
is so good, we have to copyright that. Rabuna.
Wait, what?
No, it should be
That's
Rebunda,
Ribena.
and we give them bums.
Rebunda. Yeah, rebunda. Yeah, it rebundas you. Restore your bunda. So I do have a little bit of good news. It's mixed. Okay, so some states have begun to take notice of this situation. At the end of last year, New York put a halt on Renuva to start regulating the use of these kind of tissues. The proposal is as follows. You will now need a $1,000 license in order to
thank
do
God.
this. Yeah, and you'll need to get your license renewed every few years for $500.
Oh, thank goodness.
Bundled in with the proposals, it will now be legal to sell human milk in New York.
Do you know what's crazy? Technically,
I don't know why these
that's
are
stricter
related.
laws than gun laws. Like, depending the state.
It is.
Maybe not New York, but like for the rest of America, that's a stricter
Yeah,
law.
that's
than-
true, actually. What, human milk? Yeah, human milk. Human milk was illegal to sell in New York, and this part of this process is okay. We'll look into the corpse injections, but we get to milk women instead. We still get to milk them. All right, this is a tip
Well,
for
I
tat.
think mothers
I want the
everywhere
tip.
have breathed a sigh of relief. They
Yeah.
can now
I
charge
can
their
finally- I
babies
can-
in peace.
We can now milk women for profit, finally. I mean, I'm trying to milk a woman
Girl
for profit
boss
right now. It's really
Bambi.
not going well.
What did I do? Yes, I'm girl bossing.
Yeah, you're girl bossing.
I'm on the verge of sleep. But yes, I
You're
am.
girl busted, I think.
I am.
That's an inappropriate
girls-
comment
Yeah.
at the workplace.
Yeah.
You're right. I'm sorry. But yeah, so this story has a happy ending. While corpse fillers are temporarily banned in New
Titty
York,
bars are back, baby.
titty bars are back. Yep. you
One
head to the
pint
bar,
of
you
your
get
jugs, ma'am. Did you get to watch it?
Ew.
one jug of
Ew.
jugs.
And I'm licking my lips the entire time. And catcalling, woo, awooga, awooga, you know?
What?
I'm
Yeah.
never going close to
Click,
this
click, click,
ever.
click, 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 click. Another one, please.
He is a very, very evil man. I wouldn't really engage with him directly.
One more,
I just
please,
got-
madame.
The ick from Wiz.
Finally,
Click, 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 click.
it took you too long.
It
Yeah,
did
you know that
take me
he's
too
a
long.
you know that he's a breastfeeder.
Now
He's
I
like
just
a-
need
he's
them
like a
to
pig.
legalize
He's a
man
milk
milk,
boy.
you know what I'm saying?
Oh.
Equal rights,
What's wrong
equal
with
rights.
you?
Double,
No.
triple, quadruple icks.
So, that's the story, guys. That's how Lindsay Lohan stays hot and beautiful by injecting herself with corpses. What a fun story! Did we all have fun, chat? Did we enjoy that? I have a bonus.
What I learned,
Excuse
my
me? Oh,
takeaway
bonus.
is
Yeah.
my takeaway is that I don't really need to take care of my skin. I can just get Renuva.
You just need to produce some dead bodies, which in your position in Israel is quite
I mean,
easy.
yeah, exactly.
There you go. Just blend some Palestinians and then inject them into you.
BRB gonna go kill my brothers.
No.
Whoa! What the hell?
That's not cool.
Well, you can pay for it by selling your milk. So really, it's a mutually beneficial
in New
market.
York,
Concrete jungle where dreams are made of.
I live
Where
in
bodies are
Nothing you
blended.
can't do.
Now
Yeah,
you're a new
New
corpse.
York.
New York, New York, bum bum bum. Lights in the glasses. We go Times Square and I'm whacking the asses.
Still
Sorry.
going. You're still going. Right,
Yay,
shut up.
it's stimming time.